Hi everyone, Katarina here. Thank you so much for watching my video today. In this tutorial, I'll show you how I made these two very simple but very effective and beautiful fun fold cards using a brand new collection which was designed by the very talented Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady. And you can find all the links that you need to check out this collection in the description box below. This video is part of a YouTube hub amongst the three of us: Monica, Crafting with Quilling Lady, Monica, aka Paper Mona, and I. I will leave links to their videos in the description box below. Be sure to check them out as well. Collection is called Purple World, and it doesn't only have some design papers but lots of other elements to it as well. Let's have a look. The cover pages suggest to you how many things you can find in here. So we start with the 14 A4 format DIGI design papers, which are lovely floral patterns in all different shades of the purple. So the last four is just coming up now on the screen, and these are really stunning. There are 196 elements to fussy cut, not only flowers, leaves, but also some wreaths. You'll get 2 full pages of sentiments and some digi stamps, 5 different flowers for the digi stamps. The add-on papers come in 5 different shades of purple, some plain ones, some polka dot ones, and then reverse polka dot where you get the purple on white backgrounds. Monica has set out this collection, so you can buy the full collection or you can just buy parts of it. Check out the links in the description box below. For my first card today, I'm going to make the easiest diamond fold easel card ever. For the card base, I need 3 pieces of cardstock. I'm using this white heavyweight cardstock. All 3 measure 6 by 6 inches. I'm going to take one of them and going to score line diagonally from corner to corner right in the middle. So I line up the 2 corners in the same groove on my scoreboard and score line, and also at about 1 inches I will score line. So the 2 score lines will run parallel with each other. I'm going to fold and burnish in the middle, and I'm going to fold and burnish the little corner the other direction. This polka dot paper, which I printed out, measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I'm just using my collal glue to glue it onto one of these pieces of 6 by 6 white cardstocks. And then I'm going to add a little glue just to the little corner that we scored at about 1 inch from the corner in. And because it's all square shaped, it's very easy to line up, and this is going to create my card base, or the base for my easel mechanism. Now I'm adding glue just to the bottom triangle below the score line, and I'm going to line up my third 6 by 6 inch square in here, and this is going to be the front panel of the card. This is the part that I will be decorating. The pattern paper I printed out measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I have edged it with some chisel tip glue pen and some lovely crystallina glitter which I got from Chloe's Creative Cards. Be sure to stay to the end because I will show you some close-up videos on how gorgeous all that glitter looks in there. So using my collal glue, I'm gluing this on top of my card base, or the front panel of the card base. And this piece of cardstock measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 and also is edged in glitter. This one is 4.5 by 4.5, also printed from the collection. And look at all that fun detail on all 4 sides. So I went with my glue just in like kind of a zigzag pattern, and I dipped it in my glitter. Now it is quite white in there. You can see it when it dries, all you're left with is that gorgeous glitter. You'll not see the white glue at all. I thought it was such a fun way to add some interest onto the edges of that cardstock. Almost looks like sewn with some glittery thread. So I glue this on top of my white cardstock, and I'm going to add foam pads on the back of this, just to give it a little bit of a dimension. I also want to apologize if I sound a bit weird or off. It's just I haven't been feeling very well, and now I got an earache as well, so it's just not not painless to talk. I'm on antibiotics now, so hopefully on the mend now. So I'm lining this piece up in the middle of the larger square or larger diamond even. These are the leftovers of some of the flowers I haven't yet fussy cut, and also the foliage. I did cut out lots and lots of them, and they are stunning. I love the coloring on these. They are really perfection. I really love them. So I added some glitter to these flowers, just following the lines on the flowers already using my dry clear glue. And then I dipped them all into my crystalline glitter, which once dries leaves it with that lovely sparkle. When I first on it, just like on this one, a camera is not really picking it up, but there's white of the glue you can see. However, once it dries, all you're left with is gorgeous sparkle. Here are some of the elements that I fussy cut and prepared with glitter, and I'm going to decorate my front panel. However, if I start adding them onto top of this paper, it's very busy. It kind of just looks chaotic. So I decided to add a piece of vellum which measures 4 by 4 inches, and it fits perfectly between that 4-stitch detail on the edges of the polka dot cardstock. And here I'm just playing about, trying to arrange which way I want this to go, just making sure that the card is in the right direction as well. So I will be just playing with this, and I will skip this part because this takes me forever to decide which flowers should go where. Add a bit of a dimension to these flowers. I use my flower forming foam and the tool with the balls at the end. And I just went in a rounded motion all around those flowers and foliage, kind of lifting the middle of those up. And this will create some lovely dimension on the card, and also it will look, it kind of brings them to life a little bit. I love how these turn out. So I'm just gonna be playing around with these. Again, I'm going to skip this part because it would be just too boring to watch me do all these to all these flowers and elements. So I have glued all the flowers and foliage that I wanted to use on this card, and I went kind of to the left side of that diamond shape, and now all I have to do is add the sentiment, and I chose Time to Celebrate from the sentiment set from the collection, and I'm cutting this down to a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to back this up with some of that polka dot paper. And the whole sentiment with the backing and all comes to about 2 by 1 inches. I will also use a foam pad to raise the sentiment up a bit from that vellum. Now remember, this vellum is still not glued down. I wanted to have all the elements on it before. In here I'm just trying to make sure that it's nice and straight, so kind of lining up all the corners and everything else on the card in there. So now I can see where exactly I can go with my glue. This is a dry clear glue anyway, but it would show through. It would if it wasn't hidden behind all those gorgeous elements. So now this way you will not see any glue isn't out, and it fits in there just perfectly. So this piece of white cardstock measures 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and the pattern one, which I'm going to add on top of that, measures 1 1/2 by 1 1/2, again edged with the same glitter that I did the pattern paper on the front of the card. This will be the stopper for my easel front part of the card, so I want to make sure that this is high enough to stop any movement of the easel part sliding forward. So I double layer the foam pads, and in here I'm just trying to decide which direction I want to put my stopper on. But I decided to go with the square as opposed to a diamond direction in here, and just trying to center it up as much as possible. It's easy to go by the dots, kind of show your straight line, but I still wanted to make sure that it's nice and centered. So this is it. Your message can go on the back or on the inside of the card, and this is my first card ready. Stay tuned for some close-ups at the end of this video. For the base of my second card, I will need a piece of cardstock which measures 6 by 6 inches, and this other one which measures 8 by 6 inches, and on the 8-inch side I just scored down in the middle at 4 inches and folded and burnished that score line. So this one will be going behind the other one, which will create basically the stand for this card. So I'm adding glue just to 1/2 of that folded cardstock, and I'm going to just glue it onto the back of my front panel of the card. So basically it stands up nicely and all you see is that front square once you display your card. This piece of lavender color cardstock, which brings out the details in Monica's design paper so perfectly, is from the Lidl range, and it measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and Monica's design paper I cut down to 5.5 by 5.5 using my collal glue. I'm just gluing this onto my card base. And I will also use a piece of 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 of that lavender color cardstock onto this back flap or stand of the card. And also there's a white piece of cardstock which I cut to 3.5 by 5.5, but I'm not going to glue that on just yet because I will be writing my message onto that later, so I will just keep it with the card once I know who is this going to. I took another piece of that lavender color cardstock which measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I took a square die of 3 inches roughly, and I cut it out of the middle, creating that gorgeous frame. That vellum piece measures 4.5 by 4.5. I decided to turn this into a shaker card, but instead of an acetate I will be using some vellum on the front. I've never done this one before and I love how it turns out. I shall use this again in the future. So I'm just adding some double-sided tape onto the back of my frame, and I will be adhering the piece of vellum on top of that. And then I'm going to bring in my double-sided foam tape, and I'm just going around the 4 sides. The sequins I'm using for my shakers are from the range, and I'm using that lavendery and the white holographic with a slight purple tint to them. And I'm adding some liquid glue on top of the foam tape for a little bit of a wriggle room to make sure that I can center this perfectly. And this is it. The sequins move perfectly. Some of them are stuck, some of them move, just the way I like my shaker cards. So again, I'm bringing in some of these flowers, and again I'm going to bring in my flower forming foam just to add them a little bit of a dimension. And again I'm just going around the edges of those petals and pressing down in the middle where the stamens are. I'm going to do the same thing to the foliage as well, just to lift them up again from the background a bit. And in here I decided that my card was missing something, so off camera I went ahead and I remembered I used to do this long time ago. So this is just plain copy paper, and I've cut some very thin strips from it, and I kind of folded them in half just like you can see on the camera, and I added a bit of a glue just to hold all those pieces together. Once the glue dries and it's nice and cool, because I used hot glue, I just cut away all the excess. Using my Pixie Burst by Cosmic Shimmer in a purple orchid color, I added a little bit of it into a spray bottle, diluted it with water, and sprayed on these little paper pieces, I guess. It creates quite a speckled look, which doesn't pick up on camera. Again, stay tuned for the end of this video so I can show you some close-ups. So in here I'm just arranging them to see which way I want them to go, and I'm using a little bit of a hot glue just to attach all these pieces together. I'm adding first the foliage type things that I created. I don't even know what to call them, honestly. So I'm just adding then the flowers on top, and then I will come in with the foliage as well. need now is a sentiment, and I chose to go with You're a Year More Fabulous. I think it's such a lovely one. So I'm cutting this down into size as well, just leaving a tiny white border around the writing, and then I'm going to back it up with that same lavender color cardstock. Adding a piece of foam tape on the back of that lavender cardstock or the sentiment as well. I am missing something in this corner, so in here I decided to add some of that foliage that I had fussy cut anyway. Why not use it? So I decided to go with two of those leaf foliage elements, added a bit of glue behind them, a little bit of liquid glue on top of the foam pad, and placing this in the corner. So these are the stoppers I created. They are 3 inches by 1 inches, scored at 1/2 inch, 1.5 and 2.5, folded just like you see on the screen. But I decided I didn't need it. I was going to use them, but the card stands up perfectly by itself. However, if you decorate this with heavier elements, you should probably use it, and you glue this in between the two 6 by 4 inch kind of flaps at the back of the card. Now I've just decided to add some sequins in here as well, and I'm using the same ones that I used for the shaker elements, the white ones with the purple tint to them, and I'm just using some dry clear glue, and I think this is the acrylic cosmic shimmer glue that I'm using in here to adhere them to my card. And this is the card ready. I think it turned out wonderfully. Now I'm just going to show you where, if I needed to use those stoppers, where would I put them. So I would add glue onto the 1/2 inch of those tabs, and I would trap them between the two flaps, opening basically the stand that holds the card upright. But this way I get the choice where I want to put my message. I can put it on the inside if I fold the flap up, or it can go on the outside, whichever you really prefer. So these are the two cards side by side, and I'm going to show you some close-up videos and images in here. And if you liked today's tutorial and these cards, please do not forget to interact with this video, like, comment and share. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. Also hit the notification bell. I have been feeling unwell, so I couldn't record as many as I wanted this past couple of weeks, but I definitely am on demand, and I will be making up for all the videos that I couldn't upload so far. But they're in the making, and they will be coming up, so if you don't want to miss out on them, please hit the notification bell as well. And don't forget to check out the links in the description box below to this gorgeous collection, and also to the other videos participating in this YouTube hub. Thank you for watching, and I will see you the next time. Bye!